and a singing his song. All the little birds on Jaybird Street love to hear the robin go tweet, tweet, tweet. Rockin' Robin, tweet, tweet, rockin' Robin.
Life is good. I'm Heather McKeown, and guess who we have today? We have Christopher Lowery, who lives in Newport, and he's a local businessman, a young man, a father, a husband, and somebody who's really working hard. Where did you come from originally?
I came from White River Junction.
White River Junction. So you're a Vermonter?
Yep.
Well, you know, that works around here. Because if you're not a Vermonter, you don't work hard enough anyway, right?
Correct.
So you came to Newport. Why?
Change of life. Needed to get out of the old realm of stuff and restart my life.
Yeah? And how long has that been?
We just started 3 years.
And you're doing great?
I am.
I know. And you see, I hired this young man because I had things to do. And the first thing I noticed about you was that you took a great enthusiastic look at what I needed done. And then you gave me ideas that were better than mine and more practical than mine. And I respect that. So you're not afraid to tell the buyer, even as cheap as me with all my secondhand stuff.
Secondhand is always good.
Yeah, you work with me on that. What kind of jobs do you like to do best?
I like to do dirt work, excavation. I like to do excavation, dirt work. I like to play. I'm a big kid, and my Tonka toys just got bigger.
They did. What do you have?
I have a couple mini excavators, and I just bought a new 40,000-pound excavator.
Oh, is that 40,000 pounds because it can lift 40,000 pounds, or it weighs
It just weighs 40,000, so it's big.
And can you pull it on this truck?
No, I have to hire somebody to pull it.
I see. Who do you hire?
Kelly View Trucking.
Kelly View Truck. Where are they?
They're off of Himmenseiler Road, which is Newport.
Yeah.
So.
See, one business can help another business around here, and I think that's one of the things. One thing that makes a businessman succeed is his incorporation of a community, so you don't hog everything.
Correct.
Yeah, and when you say you like to play, I understand that. My grandson took all of these courses at the high school here with the real equipment, and it was tempting. I would love to go over there and do that, but I'm a bit of a disaster.
It's all on the feel.
Yeah.
They're just a big piece of equipment with some joysticks.
Really?
You can either move them fast or you can move them slow. They'll do what you want.
Yeah. And when you're doing this now, right now you're working on a job in Charleston.
Yep.
How does that start? How did they find you? How do you bid? How do you get the job? And then what do you do?
So they found me on Facebook. They messaged me. I set up a time to go meet with them. They had to go through a few things, and the projects have been funded by the government.
Whoa!
To help. They hired me, and I completed the government-funded projects, and we're on to. He has a whole bunch more work that he wants me to do myself that he's going to pay for.
Government-funded forestry clearing?
Ditching for farms.
Ah, mostly dairy?
Yep. Or this is actually a beef farm.
Beef farm.
But they do a lot. They've more fun towards the dairy, but they're not. They don't. They like each other. They like everything, so they'll help any farmers do anything, any funding to help them. You know, farming is tough.
Oh, I know it. I was there.
So they funded his project and helped him along, and it got him so he can have a smooth running beef farm and not have to have the heifers walking through 4+ feet of mud.
Isn't that nice?
It's very nice.
There's nothing worse than a dirty heifer.
Correct.
I know. It's like, no, I was a herdsman on a dairy farm, and it's when I first moved to Vermont. And a farmer hired me with no experience, but he asked me, do you take drugs? And I said, no. He said, do you drink? I said, well, not really. And so he said, then I can teach you how to be a farmer. But he paid me $150 a week and gave me a house to live in, and I had my 2 little ones. And sometimes he didn't get a milk check. The milk check came in, I could get my money, but he didn't make a cent sometimes because the grain prices were so high. And the government wasn't helping at that time. And since I'm so glad to see some of the legislation really coming in to help farmers now, because what would we eat otherwise, right? And
we kind of rely on the farmers.
If only people really knew that. People in Vermont know that. Everybody in Vermont knows that. And you know, the conservationists say that if you have a lot of dairy or a lot of beef, it's destroying the property, but it doesn't seem to be doing that in Vermont. It would be the Amazon for McDonald's that would do that.
Yep.
You know, we're moderate here,
Correct.
and we don't do a lot of destroying here. And when you do the excavating, you do it in a conservation way.
Correct.
Did you take courses for that?
No, it's all on what they want, specs on what they want and how it to be done. So you have to be able to read and understand, and if you make an error, you got to be the one man enough to go back and fix it.
Have you ever made an error?
Absolutely.
Really? And you know to go back?
Yep.
Ethical. Ethical. Young, strong, and ethical. And it shows up for jobs, which is amazing. Because it's really hard to get anyone around here.
Correct.
And it's not because we have too few of them, but we have too many jobs. So maybe
We have too many jobs, and Mother Nature this year has not been friendly.
Yeah.
So
How has it slowed you down?
It's-
All the rain.
it's put me weeks behind. But you just plug through it. And I just try. I
Yeah.
wake up every morning and go to work. That's what you got to do. You just go to work.
Yeah. Did your parents work like you do?
Yes.
Doing what?
My dad actually owned his own heating business, and my mom worked as a paralegal for an attorney.
Really? Did she go to Woodbury to learn how to do that?
Nope. She just started as a secretary, and she worked 27 years for one law firm, and then they retired, and we're on air, and I can't say the rest.
Well, if we're off air, I'm going to ask that question. Inquiring mind wants to know.
So.
My mind, I won't ask, but it's obvious that you came from hardworking people. Do you have siblings?
I do. I have a younger brother and an older brother.
What are they up to?
My older brother works for a big fuel company in charge of trucking, and my younger brother actually runs a landscaping business.
Get out! Around here?
Nope,
All the way down there, down south.
down south.
Yeah, when we say down south, the weather doesn't change that much.
The weather has been just as bad down there as it has
I
been up
can't
here.
believe the year, but down there, how much damage? Because we didn't get a lot of damage around here, particularly.
There's still roads that aren't passable.
Really? Barton got hit here,
Yep,
and Irisburg a little bit,
correct.
but Newport was okay, except for Gardner Park.
Yep.
If anybody wanted you to work around town, I guess, did the city people go in and do all that fixing here, or do they call external excavators? And
I know Newport City or Newport Town, they hire subcontractors to come in and help. I put my name on the list to go try to help, but I didn't get anything, it's okay.
as long as they've got people, yeah.
You know, things got fixed, and I'm a volunteer firefighter for Newport Center, so I was out able to at least close the roads and help the people that were in need.
Well, let's talk about that. My grandson's a fireman in Jay, and my father was a volunteer fireman in Montreal, of all places. So tell me how you got involved in that, because that takes the sleep away.
It's just, I like to give back. And if I got to give back and be able to help, I'm giving back to the town. And it's not costing them anything to have us go out, and I don't mind helping.
Yeah, have you had any bad fires out there?
We had, not out there, but we've been assisting other fire, one in Irisburg that happened at the dairy farm out there.
Did they lose cattle?
Nope,
Oh, thank God.
just storage, hay storage and grain storage.
Was it towards the end of the season, or so they haven't put up the new hay yet, or was it
It was like 4 months ago.
after first cut?
I believe so.
That's crappy. How much damage to the barn? Gone?
It was a total loss.
Yeah. God. We had a fellow over where I used to live in Franklin County. His name was Bert Lucier. We called him Burnt Lucier because everything he touched caught fire.
That's not good.
And at one point, he was fixing up a tractor to sell. Well, I think, and I don't remember if he was smoking over the gas can or what, but
You're
Yeah.
asking for trouble.
he was terribly burned. He was such a dynamic human being, and he had to have all the artificial covering on his body, most of his body, and nothing stopped him. Nothing. And he just passed away maybe 5 years ago, and it was a tough loss for everybody because he was such an example of I'll do it no matter what. Rebuild, 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 do. And
He had the drive to push forward.
not
Keep
stop.
Going. Keep going. Don't let anything hold you back.
No, and he had a wonderful girlfriend named Sandy Murphy. She's still kicking and doing great. And they were a happy couple, a nonstop couple. They played poker together all the time. And and he'd tell me, you know, she cheats, and she'd say to me, you know, he cheats. But they both had a great time. But what was I going to say about Sandy and him as a couple? Oh, hardworking, World War II vet. And his favorite person in the world was his sainted mother. You know?
Yep.
And I moved here, and I'm just starting to meet people who are like the people I knew over there, because, you know, when you first move somewhere, you don't know anybody.
Correct.
And so when I met you, I said, you're just like the people in Franklin County. You're nonstop. And I didn't even know you volunteered for firemen. I'm not surprised.
I volunteer up here at Newport Center, and I volunteer for a Scotney fire down in Scotney, Vermont.
Where's that? I mean, how
It's
far?
2 hours.
2 hours away. So what do they do? Just call you if they expect
So I go down when I pick my daughter up every other week, and I go down early, and if calls come in, I help out. And when I go down to drop her off on the Sunday, that same Sunday, I try to hang out a little bit. If calls come in, I go help.
That's nice.
I grew up down there, and I was on that department for 2 years, so I still try to give back.
Of course.
Give back even though I'm not there.
And your daughter's 13?
She's 12.
12. I'll tell you
Sure.
something. She's watching you. She knows you do this.
She does.
And you watch how that changes her life as she grows, because if you've got parents who pitch in, the children
Yep.
realize they have to be a part of a community to be part of a community.
Yep.
So what does she like to do?
She loves to ride horses.
Oh,
She keeps telling me, Dad, I want a horse. And I keep telling her, you can get it when you move out. So she doesn't really like that. But
move out.
move out on her own when she turns 18, because there's no space for horses here.
No.
And it's
It'll
hard.
fit in my shed when you finish building me.
Yeah, it will, but she's got to be around to take care of it.
Yeah.
So, and it's hard because I only see her every other weekend. But it's part of life when situations change.
And you've got a little girl.
Little boy.
Little boy, 1 year old?
He's 13 months old. So, and he's everything that I've always wanted. He's a handful.
Yeah. What's his name?
Landon.
Bring him over. I like 13-month-old babies. He's a little pistol.
Yeah, he loves to climb.
Really? What
And
is it with baby boys and climbing?
He loves to climb. He loves to run. He loves to not listen.
He's normal.
Yes.
Yeah, wait till he's 14.
He'll still be normal. It just gets worse because they talk back.
They do. I never expected that. The first time my kids talked back to me, and they still do, I couldn't believe it because I was not allowed to talk back.
Nope.
And, you know, they'd be held to pay if we talked back, but all my friends were raised by the same kind of people. None of us could talk back. So I didn't do any rebelling until I was in my 30s. You know? And
Yeah.
then I still wasn't rebelling against my parents. I was rebelling whatever, you know? But not bad stuff, but now everyone says it's a stage they have to go through to get to the next level.
Correct. But we got to prepare them for the real world. You know, you can't talk back to us because you can't talk back to a boss.
Yeah. My dad used to say, a boss may not always be right, but he's still the boss. And it took me decades to figure out what the heck he meant from that.
He's the one that can send you home. He's the one that signs your paycheck.
That's right.
So
That's
you
why
listen to them.
That's why I'm self-employed. It's like I sign my own paychecks, and not many, but
Same here.
it's good. You love being self-employed?
I do. It's been the best career jump that I did 6 years ago.
Yeah, for sure. You can be with your family when you want.
Yep.
And the first time I called you, I woke you up. You were taking a very well-earned nap on a 100-degree day.
You're probably right. I haven't
I-
seen many naps lately.
And you said, "Oh my gosh," you know. And I said, "I'm sorry." And it must have been the only nap you've had in years, because.
Yeah,
And I ruined it. Thank you, Heather.
No ruining naps here. It just gave me a chance to meet another great customer.
Oh, really? Well, high five to that.
Absolutely.
I hope I don't disappoint you.
No disappointing.
Okay. And there's no disappointing in this. I'm going to flash over to Christopher's car, and Kelby, my editor, of this wonderful show. Kelby, if you don't know Kelby, everybody who's watching this show, she's my editor. So any mistakes I make, she kindly edits out. So you don't see half of the show because most of my shows are full of mistakes. So thank you, Kelby. And Kelby will put all the information so you can contact Christopher for any excavating jobs you want done, and any other making of ditches and
Anything.
clearing of land and anything where you want to see someone play in his big machines.
That's what I do. I play.
Anyway, Lowery.
And it is coming time. It is winter time. It's rolling around. If you are looking for a plow company to take care of your property in the Derby, Newport area, please contact.
Do you snowplow?
I do.
Oh, and let me write you a song. It's there's no business like snow business, like no business he knows. Every driveway needs one.
Correct.
And last year when I was shoveling, I like shoveling. And one time I was shoveling and my neighbor came over and he has a 12-foot snowblower. You know, they're very wide.
Yeah.
And he just told me to get out of the way. And it was like it took a minute and a half.
It is nice.
And he said, "Where do you want it?" And I went, "I don't care." It's like,
Not in the driveway. I need to get out.
yeah, don't plow me in. But wonderful, I have great neighbors, but I love shoveling, but that was a real blessing that day because that snow is heavy. So, if you don't want to hurt, at my age, it's crazy to go out there and really kill myself doing this heavy, heavy work. Think about it. Put your pride aside, because I've got to say, when my neighbor came over to do that for me, I wasn't sore the next day and I didn't strain my back. And it's just something to think about if you haven't as yet had anyone plow for you. Christopher Lowery does it, and he'd love to do it.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me.
My pleasure. And when I get the shed built, which will be probably this week or next, and I have room to put things away, maybe I'll do another show with you in front of the shed so you can talk about how wonderful you are as a what do you call that, a construction man? Carpenter. Well,
Carpenter, builder. Just don't call me late for dinner.
No, you won't be. Thanks for watching. Life is good. See you next week.
Rock and Robin. Rock and Robin. Slow rock and Robin, 'cause we're really gonna rock tonight. Well, the pretty little raven at the Birdman stand taught him how to do the bop, and it was grand. They started going steady, and bless my soul, he out-bopped the buzzard and the Oreo. He rocks in the treetop all the day long, hopping and a-bopping and a-singing his song. All the little birds on Jaybird Street love to hear the robin go tweet, tweet, tweet. Rockin' Robin, rockin' Robin, slow rockin' Robin, 'cause we're really gonna rock tonight.